Hello, everyone. So today I'll be talking about smart surveillance of resistant enterococcus in real time, and I am representing the group CONIT, which comprises Samuel, Tierra, Samuel, Amma, and Isaac. My name is Bill Clinton. I'm currently a PhD student at the University of Ghana, trying to understand enterococcus in Ghana. Now, the problem we currently have is that antimicrobial resistance occurs when antibiotics become resistant. Take a case where a person goes to the hospital and the person dies not because of the incompetence of a doctor, but the inability of data to understand Enterococcus in Ghana. In our hospitals, there are some data. However, what we tend to see is that they are silos and therefore they are not put together. In this case, hospitals are flying blind in the sense that we are not able to integrate some of this data into our patients so that we can improve patients' outcomes. Now, someone may ask, why now and why Enterococcus? Now, it is estimated that by 2050, we are expecting about 10 million deaths annually due to antimicrobial resistance, and therefore, it is really a problem. Now, in 2019 alone, we had up to 250 deaths associated with Enterococcus, telling you how important it is. But unfortunately, in the Ghanaian space, there is no studies that have looked at hospitalized patients. However, studies looking at animals have found out that they are actually very resistant strains in animals, giving us an indication that this could actually spread in humans as well. So to understand some of this, we carried out a meta-analysis, and what we came was that in 2022 there was a 1.3% prevalence that was recorded, but from our meta-analysis we see that it was around 6.76%, giving an indication that this is actually on the rise. And so what do we propose? We are saying that for every problem there is some opportunity, and so the current challenge is that some labs will continue to use hard copies and there's no shared knowledge of enterococcus in different hospitals. And therefore, there's that lack of automation in Ghana. Our solution. So we are proposing EnteroTrack, which is a mobile or web-based form of an app, and has an automated backend with cloud-hosted AMR database. What it means is that the hosting wouldn't be on these individual labs, and instead, it is a group that will be hosting it. And so, aside that, it will also have a plugin ready for integration system. In this case, some labs that used apps like WhoNet or the LEMS can actually integrate their data into our database. Now, simply, this is how it looks like. There's a login page, a notification page, and a dashboard a live dashboard so that once a data is entered immediately is updated. And so we have contact information. All that you need is just an email and a password. Now, what's the proposition? And so for clinicians, it means that there's evidence-based antibiotics suggestions. Now, for researchers, it means that there's anonymized data, but it has a high quality AMR database, which is also important for the Ministry of Health and the Ghana Health Service to actually help in surveillance. Now, the market size, we think that there are about 100 plus public and private hospitals in the Greater Accra, which is our initial addressable market. And so, what it also means is that we want to start with 10 diagnostic labs, then expand and look at other priority organisms as well. We believe that we can model this into the region and scale it in the whole of Ghana. Now, the roadmap, it actually has four phases. The first one is where we try to deploy 8 to 10 labs and hospitals in Accra to do a pilot study. And from there, we begin to integrate Ghana Health Service databases as well. And in the long run, we also believe that when the data is large enough, which is around 1,000 plus, we can deploy a machine learning algorithm to also help in understanding some of these dynamics that occurs in enterococcus in Ghana. Now, what are the key performance indicators? Now, we are looking at instances of adoption where we are expecting that within the next 6 months, when we deploy this app, we're expecting that at least 10 hospitals should be on board. And the clinical impact, we're also looking at a case whereby there will be 30% of clinicians that report that there's actually an improved prescribing confidence. Now, the ask. So, we are asking for this funding because we want to actually build and pilot this into track. And so this funding will go into the minimum viable product development and also the hosting on the cloud storage and also some form of local training to aid in the impact tracking. Finally, our goal is that there could be a national AMR intelligence backbone that scales this need. So, in conclusion, what we are asking and what we are saying is that antimicrobial resistance is actually on the rise, and that one way of actually solving this problem is to make sure that the silos data we have in our hospitals are brought in together through a database using an app. Now, we believe that with this, we can actually pilot and start with 100 plus hospitals, which is our addressable market. Thank you very much.